system, then our body think is what? Foreign antigen. So come in and attack it. And then there is an osmotic balance, so the water stays. It's because we don't have enough enzyme. It's because we eat the kind of food that is hard to digest. So then we walk around with stale water. So we walk around like a sewage system in our body. Okay, so that is a piece. That's why I say the three staleness. Now, the Western, or most of the medical, will be concerned with the third one. Okay, are you doing your stool well? Constipation. They focus on the third, but they don't focus on the first two. So that is another concept. Key one I talked about, how you flush the toxin in the water out. The healthier you are, the better your skin is, the less stale air and stale water is in the system, and stale metal in the system. It's as simple as that. Make sense? Okay. So when I was in Tibet, southern part of Tibet, big sign. Thousands of diseases start with indigestion. So when we have stale air, stale water, stale matter, we're going to be sick. So one of the key is, in my key one is how to flush the water and toxin of the body. Now, enzyme, there's lots of enzyme. I take enzyme because why I'm eating, because I just want to digest well. I have, in my family, my mother, I have the issue of dampness. So the lymphatic, you also will find that in the lymphatic area where you holding the water. And that especially the stomach, because 40% of the lymph nodes are here. Because the lymph nodes are here to protect you, all the food, all the toxin, to flush it out. So that's why it's here. Okay, so you can do things about it. You can cut down more gluten, because the way the glutens are, it's a lot of 20% more gluten in the wheat. It actually, for testing European wheat, it's a lot less. There's a special grain from Tuscany. So the reason, so I don't want to make gluten a villain. I just want you to understand there's more than gluten that you will not digest well. Actually, if you close your eyes and every time you finish eating your food and feel how you just feel how the food feels in the stomach, learn how to do that. Because the more you learn, the more you will be reinforced by some food that you better take it easy with, okay? And naturally respond to it. So I don't believe in diet. I believe in really understanding your body, because I believe it in that three healers within you, your inner physician, your inner psychologist, and your inner peace. So my job is help you ignite them. Okay? Yes?
Have you had some experience with systemic enzymes which are designed to go beyond the stomach?
Yes, yes. Okay, I'll explain that. Systemic enzyme, actually 80%, 60 to 80% of our body produce enzyme for digestion. And 20 to 40% are for systemic enzyme that are taking care of immune system, endocrine system, nervous system. So the 20–40% are for all those important things. But most of us in the US or in here is that we use 110% of our energy to produce enzyme for digestion, because we eat all kinds of stuff, And buffet is the worst. From all the way to, your stomach is like, oh my gosh, it's like a washing machine. You throw everything in there. Okay, so now that with the modern society, so now your body don't have any energy left to take care of the system. So, and then when you have stale water in your stomach, you walk around, and then pretty soon diabetes comes in, pretty soon cancer. It's because your body don't have the ability to fight those diseases. So another question people ask, how do you take bush supplement? I'm like, we are inundated with all the different kind of food supplements, right? The first thing. The way I have it in the book is Very simple. You take your basic, a good multivitamin tablet or whatever package you have, and then go back and take a look at your family history. Your family has a lot of heart issues. Look at food supplement that takes care of heart. And then focus on that because that's your family history of potentially you're going to have that problem. Okay, your family has cancer a lot. That means your family has immune issues. Okay, so look for all the supplement for immune, food supplement for cancer. Okay, plus cancer a lot of times is emotion too. So I say liver farting, the stale air, that's a lot of times emotion. You know, a lot of times your body keep those suppressed qi not moving because you are upset. Okay. Then if you have diabetes, you know, so you stay off from sugar, and so then look at your family history, then supplement those. Then you don't have to say, should I do this? Or if your family had Alzheimer's issue, okay, then supplement Alzheimer's. Then you don't have to say, maybe I should take, pretty soon you have a whole closet full. You don't even know how to begin, what to begin, right? So I just kind of devised a very simple way to kind of deal with it, okay? And what else? Oh, I cover key 1, I cover key 3. The way my book is designed, it doesn't matter how you come into it, because you can start with key 5, you can start with key 1, you can start 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or you can come in any key and get started with it, okay? Key 4, which is the mind, body, spirit, is one of my favorite. And I noticed that during a certain period of time, I'm starting to ask who I am, what am I more about, you know. And then I noticed, so I start reading Dalai Lama every morning. He gets up at 4 and chant for 2 hours. I said, oh my gosh, how am I going to do that, right? And in fact, I went back to China when I was in my 30s, and then I start for about the first 30-some years. I'm this get-by girl, you know. I love my life, you know, and I have a good life. I get married, you know. I never have to put 100% of my effort in anything. I can always get by, right? And then, and then when I went back to China and I saw my cousin, they have nothing. And yet, because we left, my father, bless his heart, he made the decision to leave. And that's a whole story behind how he made that decision. And I left we left behind our cousins, and we haven't seen each other for 34 years. And their life is just miserable. And that just opened my eyes up. You know, one of my cousins who, they have to send her back to the country to be a farmer, and yet she wanted to be a student so bad that she passed and become a professor in English without going through the system. I said, oh my gosh, you know, the difference between my life and her life. And that's when I start getting serious. I say, I'm given so much and so many advantages, and yet my family in China, they struggle and struggle, and yet they accomplish more than I do, because what they have is so difficult. You know, and yet in her heart she wanted to go to school, even though the government wanted her to farm, but she still wanted bad enough. She became a professor of the university. So I went back to China and helped a couple of my cousins to come over here to go to school, further school. See, but that whole trip totally changed me. You know, that's when I started reading Dalai Lama, Marianne Williamson, or you name it, everything about, you know, spiritual path, I start reading it, okay? Then I start asking, gee, I should do more than what I'm doing. What am I all about? And all that questioning, and that's the beginning and the end of my marriage, you know? Because I start branching out to be who I am. So from that, I also discovered that meditation and really kind of come in. And through some connection, I found this CD composed by somebody who had the kind of frequency that get me into a mindset of alpha state. So I'm able to focus and concentrate and be able to crank out this book and do a lot of things with this music. So I say, oh, I better put this music so that when people are busy, and I always say, promise me at least do one thing, is to put this music on. Even if you read my book, you don't do anything, just put the music on. You're doing something. So that's my way of McDonald meditation, you know? So it's my way to kind of get me in this alpha state, and that also help people get more and more into the frequency and the energy and the feng shui. So by writing this book, and I went back to Hong Kong, and I met several feng shui masters and in Hong Kong, and they taught me, and I bought everything in the DVD. So the last few years, by taking care of my mother, so I have a little free time, so I study everything about energy and about feng shui. So that's key four, because I think that's a very important piece for the inner priest. You have to have your inner priest to guide you through your tough time, because we're going through some very difficult time. I know in San Miguel this is paradise. Maybe you don't feel some of the difficulties in the States, you know? Huh? Yes. And so, but we're going through a real adjusting and adapting time. And I read an article called, have you read the author called Lynn Twist? And it's called The Soul of Money. And I was so taken by her one comment. She said that there is a tribe in South America, and they call themselves Azure tribe. And they say that they are, have you heard of condor and bird, which is a very intuitive bird? And then there's a prophecy that the ego, which is the Western left brain people, the ego people, and if they don't learn something, because they live with the earth, they're really like Indian, and if they don't learn something of what the ego people are doing, then they will perish. And if the ego people don't learn something what the condor people are doing, they will perish. And after I read that, I said, oh, this is so true. We have to have the combination of the two birds, or the two way of thinking, in order for us to survive.